There are people who legitimately think that Anthony Davis is better than Giannis, and now we have people trying to criticize Giannis in his game, and it needs to stop. I feel like at least once a month I have to come on here and defend Giannis' honor because that's how much I have confidence in this man. Also, you didn't really think I was going to daily upload without making a Giannis video this month, didn't you? Regardless, about 3 days ago, Anthony Davis and Giannis probably put on the most insane game that we've seen so far this NBA season. AD had like 44 points, Giannis had like 40, the Bucks and Lakers had a really close game, but the Lakers ended up winning. And what did people take away from this game? Oh wow, this was a good game. This is why we love basketball. Damn, Anthony Davis is really good, and he might actually be back to his prime form. It's finally good to see Chris Middleton is finally back on the court. Those are probably the 3 things you could have taken away from that game, and I wouldn't be mad at you. But no, there's a conversation about Anthony Davis being better than Giannis, and there are people who actually agree, and now there are people trying to criticize Giannis and saying he's not as good as we thought he was and he's overrated. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also follow my Twitter because I talk about the NBA a lot on there. Now in my last video I talked about Anthony Davis, and look, he's a great player and there is definitely a conversation to have whether he's back or not. And while I've said for the longest time if Anthony Davis can stay healthy he's a consistent top 5 player in the NBA, and I still stand on that. There are people that think that he's entered the conversation for the best player in the NBA and he's overthrowing Giannis. That's not true. Now at first I didn't want to believe this was even true, and I even went on my YouTube community post and about like 1,000 people voted and Giannis destroyed Anthony Davis in the voting. So when I saw that I was confused. I was asking who would actually think that Anthony Davis is better, and unfortunately we have the biggest fucking idiot to ever exist on the app of Twitter, Bull World. Now of course this isn't the only person that thinks this, but I feel like I had to find one person who actually represented the group of people that think this. So I went with the biggest dumbass I could find. According to Bull World and other people, a fully healthy Anthony Davis clears Giannis. Now I said this in the last video and I'm gonna say it again. Anthony Davis right now, I'm not sure where he ranks as a player. If you were to play the way he is right now pretty consistently, I would argue he's a top 5 player, and I wouldn't get mad if you said that. However, I would like to see at least 1 to 2 more months of Anthony Davis doing this, or at least half of what he's doing for me to say, okay, he's top 5. But Giannis is on a different level. See, Giannis isn't a top 5 player in the NBA no more. He is the best player in the NBA. Or if you want me to quote what I actually said yesterday, I said he's the best fucking player in the NBA. And I stand by that. Giannis is on his own level right now, and to be honest, there's no player that I can tell you that actually is close to him. The conversation for who the second best player can definitely be had, but Giannis is a lock for first. I know there used to be a thing that I still see sometimes, but it's the, oh, Giannis is just a run and dunk player. There is literally hours of film that I could show you that proves Giannis has a bigger bag than you might think. Yeah, he's not going to shoot 40% from 3. His mid-range game he's improved on. He has a good post-up game. He's someone that can drive and make just about any shot at the rim. A good friend of mine, Will Socho, made a video years ago where he talked about the Giannis wall and how you can't use that anymore. So the one thing people had to stop Giannis can't even be used. Stopping him is virtually impossible, and his quote-unquote bad games are some NBA All-Stars' best games. Also, I don't know where this narrative came from that Anthony Davis absolutely demolished Giannis when he had like 4 more points. Anthony Davis had 44 and 10, and the Lakers took home the W 133 to 129. So how did Giannis do? He had a respectable 40 and 7. So obviously speaking, Anthony Davis had the better game. And I'm not trying to dispute that. It's pretty simple to look at the stats and look at the way they played. I would say AD was a lot more dominant in that game. But I've come to realize that NBA fans have like no patience. So if Giannis has like one bad game, the whole NBA is going to be talking shit about him, saying that he's overrated and he's not actually that good. Trust me, this isn't just Giannis. I've seen this for so many examples. And if I'm being real, it just ruins basketball conversations because people will judge things off less than a week ago. I swear, y'all gotta learn patience about certain conversations. Because of that matchup, like I mentioned earlier, people said that Anthony Davis is better than Giannis, and he started to clear him on other aspects of the game, which is just simply not true. Holy shit, I just found something Shannon Sharpe said. So Shannon Sharpe was asked the question, is Anthony Davis playing like an MVP, and does he have a legitimate case?
What we're seeing is Anthony Davis playing to his potential. He's more skilled than Giannis.
We are not having this conversation again. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm so done arguing about who's a more skilled player in the NBA. Not too long ago, there was a conversation whether or not Giannis had skill at all, saying he didn't have a bag and he wasn't that talented, but he was just 7 feet tall and that's all he had. That he was a run and dunk player, which if you can't tell, I obviously disagree with. First of all, you can see clips right now on the screen where Giannis is utilizing post moves and he's able to do things that most defenders can't defend. While obviously in transition, Giannis is going to run and dunk. Like, I don't get what the fucking argument is. He's a defensive player of the year candidate every damn season. He's someone that can be a playmaker. He's someone that has a high basketball IQ. Giannis has many skills and many talents, yet people try to say that he doesn't. And I know Shannon wasn't trying to say that Giannis doesn't have skill, but I know a lot of people trying to make this conversation and I'm trying to shut that shit down. Now you guys know my answer, but is Anthony Davis more skilled than Giannis? Well, let's break down some of the key things that both players can do and let's see who's better. Also, I know there's other aspects of the game like being clutch, but I think we're talking about actual skills that you can like physically work on. Being clutch is kind of a mentality thing and kind of something you have to be good at mentally and physically. So let's break down these 5 skills. First off, we have shooting, and I think a lot of people already know what their answer is going to be, as do I. When it comes to shooting the 3 ball, Anthony Davis will beat Giannis as AD shoots 33% from 3 and Giannis shoots 22%. But there's something a little eye-opening that I noticed. While AD has a higher 3-point percentage, I noticed that he only takes 1.4 threes per game, while Giannis takes about 3.3s per game. Now, the most important statistic when it comes to shooting, in my personal opinion, is true shooting percentage. And Anthony Davis destroys Giannis in true shooting percentage with a 65% true shooting percentage, while Giannis has a true shooting percentage of 58%. Impressive, but I would say Anthony Davis destroys him in this conversation. And I'm just saying, me personally, I'm a lot more confident in Anthony Davis taking a 3 than Giannis. So Anthony Davis wins when it comes to shooting. Next up, we have dribbling, and I have to give it to Giannis. If the Bucks really wanted to, they could run Giannis at point guard, and I would say it would go pretty effective. Giannis doesn't move like most big men. Giannis can run like a point guard and handle the ball as such. Anthony Davis, when he moves like a big man, which is pretty normal for someone his size. But I think Giannis is just way better when it comes to dribbling. Speaking of point guard skills, I'm also going to give passing to Giannis because I feel like he's more of a playmaker, at least compared to Anthony Davis. When it comes to defense, like I said earlier, I just feel like Giannis is a defensive player of the year candidate every single season. And I think Giannis can guard the 1 through 5, which not a whole lot of players in the NBA can do. And while Anthony Davis is a pretty good perimeter defender, I just don't see him being able to guard most positions. And finally, we have rebounding. When it comes to stats, Anthony Davis is averaging, I think, 1 more rebound compared to Giannis. But Anthony Davis has also been playing the center position a lot this season, and Giannis has been playing power forward. Now, I actually want to look at their rebound percentage, which basically dictates how often they get a rebound when they're in position for it. And Giannis would beat Anthony Davis in that category 29% to 27%. It's pretty close. You can go either way, but I'm going to give it to Giannis because of his defensive rebound percentage. According to the stats in the film and watching them play, I just think Giannis is 1, a more skilled player than Anthony Davis, but 2, he's by far a better player than him. And not just him, but everyone in the NBA. There's levels to this, and I'm sick of people trying to put Giannis on the same level as other people. So for the people that actually think a healthy Anthony Davis clears Giannis, you're just purely wrong, because Giannis has been better than Anthony Davis for the longest time. And I'm just saying, Anthony Davis isn't going to end as a top 10 player all time, but Giannis, he might already be there.